If you look at Guilbeault's mandate letter as Heritage Minister, it's absolutely 100% guaranteed to put this anti-American, anti-Trump extremist on a collision course with the United States, because it absolutely 100% guaranteed violates the new USMCA, the renegotiated version of NAFTA that looks like it'll soon be ratified. Here, take a look. The second point out of the 23. This is the second priority. Create new regulations for social media platforms, starting with a requirement that all platforms remove illegal content, including hate speech, within 24 hours or face significant penalties. This should include other online harms such as radicalization, incitement to violence, exploitation of children, or creation or distribution of terrorist propaganda. Now, we already have criminal code provisions against distributing terrorist propaganda. For example, after 9/11, Canada's criminal code was beefed up with lots of new anti-terrorism laws. Anyone who promotes a terrorist group, who assists a terrorist group, even who plans to go overseas to join terrorist groups, that's all a crime now, has been for almost 20 years. You don't actually have to prove that a terrorist killed someone in Iraq or anything like that. They just have to try to go there or give some sort of help. That's how easy it is to prosecute an ISIS terrorist, certainly those who have come back to Canada, and yet Trudeau hasn't prosecuted a single one. Here's what Section 19.17 of the USMCA trade treaty says. And it's simple enough that even Trudeau could understand it with a little bit of help. Here, I'll read it slowly for Trudeau's benefit. No party, that's what they call countries, no party shall adopt or maintain measures that treat a supplier or user of an interactive computer service as an information content provider in determining liability for harms related to information stored, processed, transmitted, distributed, or made available by the service, except to the extent the supplier or user has, in whole or in part, created or developed the information. Okay, maybe I can understand why Trudeau didn't get it, but let me take you through it. When it says no party shall adopt a measure, they mean no country can pass a rule, okay? So Canada cannot treat an interactive computer service, that's what they call Facebook or Twitter. They can't treat a service like that as an information content provider. They're just a platform for users. It's like a community bandstand that anyone can play on. It's neutral. It's like a bulletin board on a street. Anyone can post something on it. You can't sue the billboard itself. So under the treaty, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, they're not the creators of the words on the platform. So they can't be held liable for harms related to anything that's published on their platforms unless they actually wrote the words themselves, the companies. I mean, Canada's media party is fine with this. Canada's conservative opposition is probably fine with this. Canada's civil liberties groups are absolutely fine with this. But Donald Trump and his trade negotiators, I'm going to guess they're not fine with some second-rate Canadian politicians giving huge fines to U.S. companies because they got their feelings hurt online. So get ready for a trade war before the USMCA is even officially ratified, and all because Trudeau and his team have such a thin skin. And they couldn't even be bothered to actually read their own free trade treaty. That's an excerpt from the Ezra Levant Show, which is a show I do every day. I do a monologue, interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. But you've got to subscribe to it, which you can do at premium.rebelnews.com.